You guys there? I don't know. And of course, they'll find it eventually. Yeah, it's half this computer, it's probably half this internet. I don't know. This shit's driving me nuts. Hey, James and Jeremy, how are you guys doing? I saw Punchy for a second. I hope she comes back. I heard she's sick. I hope she's feeling okay. Appreciate her swinging by. Chappy! Imagine it as an epic guitar solo. Well, like a womp 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 womp. Like that's how I imagine it because this is my third attempt at the same stream. Third time's a charm, right? Oh fuck me. Hey, Seanza, how you doing, bud? I I don't know. Anyways, I'm back. I am. Oh man. Third time's the charm, right? Second time, 3 seconds later, stream dies. Oh, I know. That's all I need. That's. I wonder if her door is still frozen shut. I hope not. Julie's probably had enough. Oh, there's Julie. Responding to some emails while I wait for for the stream to build back up. I'm sorry. I I don't know. It just sucks. Um, uh, Hey, Zen. See? Don't do shower stories. That must be it. Here's a fun one. It's called Upstairs. When I was a child, I lived in a rented 2-floor house. Both my parents worked, so I was often alone when I came home from school. One early evening, when I came home, the house was still dark. I called out, "Mum," and heard a voice say, "Yes?" from upstairs. I called my mom again, and again I got the same "Yes" reply. I felt she was calling me back, and I climbed up the stairs. When I reached the first floor, I called her once again, and the voice, "Yes," came from the furthest room. I felt both uneasy, but a strong urge to see my mother, and started to walk towards the room. But that moment I heard the front door downstairs open, and my mother come in, carrying a lot of shopping bags. "Sweetie, are you home?" My mother called in a cheery voice. Hearing her voice made me feel instantly better, and I turned back to go downstairs at once, but not before I had a quick glance towards the room. While I watched from the top of the stairs, the door to that room slowly opened a crack, and for a brief moment, I saw something strange in there. A pale face staring at me. Yes. Like, I feel that's how you say that. It seriously is why 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 E's and a S. If you go to the first stream thumbnail, it's of Chappy and his boobies. Really? I'm gonna check that now. Oh. Well, it doesn't. Not for me, it's not. Let's go to YouTube real quick and check. Maybe you got that perverted YouTube that does stuff like that. My extremely small man nipples. YouTubes. How about I move that to the side? Pecs. Yes, pecs. Not moobs at all. If you want to see Chappy get new streaming equipment and tell more stories, consider supporting on Patreon. That's right. That would be awesome, actually. You can't stop laughing now. No, that would be very funny. Oh, it sure is. Oh, that's awesome. It actually looks like boobs, too. Let's change that. We're just going to click on that. Oh, you want my boobs on a body pillow? I'll see what I can do for you. just my boobs all over the pillow. That's all you get. Chad and Captain Flannels Saucy time. Why does that sound like fun? YouTube Studio. Let's fix this. Yeah, edit thumbnail. See, it's not, for me, it's not showing that thumbnail. What if I just... There we go. It's gone for now, until I can fix it. Scratch and bow. Got a chub. See, there it is. Yeah, edit the freaking thumbnail. Custom thumbnail. Jesus Christ. YouTube's being all cheeky like we didn't. We didn't put your shirtless body up there. Where's my standard image? Like, I don't know where YouTube's getting these thumbnails either. These really are... I really did set a standard thumbnail picture. Maybe I'll go viral and people will laugh at me. There we go. And I'll set it as public. Tell me if that one's any better. Bo can't stop laughing. No, that's... Thank you. You... that video is going to get a bunch of hits now because of you. I need more viral dance videos. Like, I need a viral dance video. Yeah, I do work with Miss Mel. I work with Chappy. I've sworn a vow of silence, but this one's gonna be expensive. I don't care. It's whatever. Thank you, Cody. How's everybody doing? I have a video going viral over 400 views in 4 days. Do you really? Let me see. Why am I getting stuff about Poppy? Didn't she do an ARG or something? Didn't I? Where's Bo? Let me see here. I'm peachy. got 700. Bo, which video is that? Make up your own scary story. You know, I've done that on some drunk streams. Um, we just had, there he is, Chad and the Captain Flannel Saucy Time. Chappy did an awesome story about possession for me a few months ago. There you go. It was, I do believe it was a drunk stream. I love that name, Chad. Captain Flannel's Saucy Time. There we go. You're a moderator now. WTF Pimple Popping Pumpkin. What the f is wrong with you? I'm looking for it. I'll have to find it later. Hey, Punchy. I was trying to ask you how you were doing. When I saw you pop in the other stream, people were telling me you're sick. Not the best, but you will live. Poor thing. Well, I hope your pooch. Um, I hope your pooch keeps you company and helps you get better. Congrats on your promotion. What are y'all promoting? What? I don't know what's happening now. What promotion? You just finished a kind of horror animation on your channel? I'll have to check it out. Oh, promotion to moderator. Oh, yeah, I get it now. Yeah, I get it. Thank you. That's the video, okay. And we had to do it to this computer. I had to click on this computer. I'm going to close it on this computer and do it on my smartphone. I don't know why I call it a smartphone. I'll do this on my phone. Or it should be on my history now. It's not though. Let's try to find that link. There it is. Oh. Yeah. Pimple poppy pumpkins, 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 like that, like 10 times fast, like that. YouTube's gonna get fired because they're not using my thumbnails. Hmm. Another 5-word scary story. How about no thank you? In 1 week, it went from 250 to 735. Let me see here. All right. How's everybody doing? I'm being really quiet right now. I'm trying to rearrange stuff. Oh, come on. Let's see if No Sleep's got anything good. They usually have something pretty good. I'd rather be a boomer than a millennial, to be honest. Well, you are what you are, so suck it up, Buttercup. Why has everybody got to think they're like a badass artist or a author and give like sequels to everything? You did, Scooter. So now instead of Chappy's boobies, because you'll have to watch the whole stream for that one, um, you got Chap Wazowski. That was done by Scooter. Scooter drew that for me. I, but I'm whatever is after a boomer. I think it's Generation Y or something like that. Because boomer is a pretty big group. Like, stupid big. Like Johnny Depp is a boomer. If that makes you feel, or yeah, he's a boomer if that makes you feel any better. Damn it, I hate when people I'll go on no sleep and I'll be like this looks cool and then I'll like oh no, too much scrolling, too much scrolling. And then I get to the bottom and people be like this is why I come to no sleep. You're awesome. I love the story. I'm like fuck, now I got to read it. And someone gave him gold. Damn it. Let's hope I don't freeze the camera when I stretch my legs out for this one. All right. Ah. All right. Let me lean back a little bit here. Maybe I could set my camera up like right here. How's that? Well, maybe if I... Is that any better? Well, now I gotta look at y'all instead of... Well, whatever. So, let's tell the story. Let's set up some back support. Because Chappy is not a spring chicken. And I keep wanting to look up for the camera. I put it right there in front of me. There you are. Doo-loo-loo. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Lower back support. That's the money maker. All right. This is called Advice from the End of Eternity. You're a trooper. Generation Y me. Dying for the first time is pretty jarring. One moment you're lying in a hospital bed and counting a number of holes in the ceiling. of your room and wondering when the doctor will finally give you the green light to go home. The next you're hearing a beeping of a light. Damn it. You're hearing the beeping of the machines and your vision is going black at the edges. The new pain in your chest radiates to all of your extremities before you pass out. That wasn't the jarring part, of course, because everyone's felt pain. What was jarring is when your vision came to and you see yourself on the operating table, chest open up in a last-ditch attempt to keep your clogged heart pumping blood. Or at least that's what happened to me. I have no idea if anyone else will go through the same thing. I don't have any proof that that's going to happen to any of you. Despite watching the last hydrogen atom collapse into quarks and gluons, I still don't have any answers to anything. But at the very least, I can give you some advice. Let's start with the first time I died. I wasn't the healthiest person in the world. I ate junk food that tasted good. I smoked cigarettes that made me feel good. And I drank coffee that allowed me to get through the monotonous workday until I can go home. I'm guessing it was these habits that finally caught up to me when I had my heart attack, which took me for the first time back in 2016. What I was the first time around doesn't matter very much, as it's not the person I am now. And at the end of this piece of advice, you'll know that none of it matters. Like I said before, when I died the first time, I was in the operating room, floating above my now lifeless corpse, watching the surgeon and their assistants in their futile attempt to revive me. I watched for what felt like forever as the doctor took off their surgical gloves and washed their hands in the sink. To their benefit, they did look sad at the fact that they couldn't save me. That 5 seconds of them staring into the mirror, not knowing that I was floating directly behind them, invisible and incorporeal, but watching nonetheless, told me so much about this person's humanity. But there's always another patient to save, another life to pull from the brink of death, and another patient to lose to that inevitable death. The first thing I tried to do when I finally realized my situation was to try and make any kind of change in the world. I tried to fog every single mirror in every single room of the hospital. I tried to extend some part of myself, whatever of myself was there now, into every single piece of electronics that I could find. But no matter how hard I tried, nothing happened. I felt nothing, and consequently nothing I did ever did change a thing. If I remember correctly, forgive the forgetfulness. It's been a while since it's happened. It was somewhere around the 2020s when I finally decided to try leaving the hospital, despite what most ghost stories would tell you about being attached to a place. I found out that at the very least I had no such limitation. The first thing I did after finding this out was look for my son. Despite my old habits, the lack of love for their mother, I managed to keep a working relationship with him for most of his life and wanted to know if he was doing okay. An admirable thing to do, I thought at the time. Living tissue has built in an acceleration limit. The most acceleration a human has ever experienced was 46.2 Gs, and that was only for a few seconds. 65 Gs is enough to make you go unconscious and kill you quite quickly. The toughest creature on Earth, the tardigrade, can withstand 1600 Gs without dying. 1 second I was staring at the hospital. The next I was several thousand miles away watching my son attempt to stay awake at a station on the USS George H.W. Bush. I sat there and watched as the boat landed in port. I watched as he got drunk with his friends. I watched as he struck out with women after women. Woman after woman, I mean. Sorry. I don't like the camera there. There we go. That's better. Nope. There we go. I watched as he got drunk on duty one too many times, as he managed to get kicked out with an only other than honorable discharge. I watched his drinking get worse. I watched him die in his 50s. Time. When you have no biological clock of eating, sleeping, and shitting, you go by the feels like a dream. You can focus on a second for what feels like a year and watch a decade pass in a proverbial eye blink. My son died unmarried and unloved. His mother never got those grandchildren she wanted. After I had no family left, I started to see the state of the rest of the world. It was like getting out of a very good movie, and then all you have your attention wrapped in you, and you step back into the real world. 1 second I was in South America watching riots break out because of the lack of food. The next I was in the Florida Keys as the beach house was smashed to pieces by gale force winds. I saw the fall of the United States. I saw the first bombs launch and the last ones fall. I saw the last civilized English. I saw the last civilized society form, peter out over the course of centuries, and then die with a whimper. I saw the last meal of the last human on earth, a small child biting directly into an uncooked rabbit with cancerous tumors growing all over it. I watched her become sick moments later. Soon after that, I watched her die. The last man-made thing, a plastic piece of a water bottle, buried tens of buried tens of feet under the earth, dissolve sometime after. I watched wildfires burn entire land masses. I watched as those land masses recovered in new greenery and new life that no one could imagine. Species adapted over time, then died when they couldn't adapt fast enough. I watched entire continents shift. I watched the last life on Earth, a single-celled organism, who had managed to adapt to all the sudden lack of water on the planet, burn to a crisp as it finally succumbed to the increasing solar radiation from the orange sun hanging in the sky. I watched as our red giant consumed the formerly blue marble called Earth. I watched the same red giant pulse brightly, scream against the dying of its own light, before falling back onto itself into a white dwarf. I watched as a white dwarf, one by one, lost all of its planets, then itself, as it collided with another star over the course of 1 billion years. The pattern repeated itself over and over again. New bright stars forming when enough of them collided. I watched them grow. I watched them stabilize orbits of planets of their own, And just like my child and the last man alive, I watched the last stars pulse at their last lights out to the world. I watched the last complex matter break down into base components. And eventually, I watched the last piece of matter peter out and disappear. The blackness, that nothingness, didn't last long. The next thing I heard was laughter. The first thing I saw was light. Light so bright it burned my eyes. The eyes I suddenly had. I felt wetness on my skin. I felt oxygen rush into my lungs as I took my first breath. I felt for the first time in an eternity. I was so happy I started crying in an unending wail that was eventually stopped when a blur held me close to their chests and spoke softly to my new ears. I was alive again. I didn't waste any time with this newfound life. I used the memory of the previous lifetime and a previous eternity to graduate as early as I could. A child prodigy, it turns out, is easy to confuse with someone who's already lived once. I used my knowledge to gain every advantage I could. I was a millionaire by the time I was 20, a billionaire by 30. I used that money and put it into every charitable thing I could that would push humanity to the stars. I had already come to the conclusion many millennia ago that I couldn't save the human race. But at the very least, I could preserve it for as long as possible. I funded denuclearization campaigns. In my lifetime, I replanted half of the Amazon rainforest with my money. I funded private space travel. And I watched myself die again. I watched the corporate empire I built keep going with the people I trusted in charge. I watched them run my efforts to keep the human race alive. I watched silently as they put the first humans on Mars. I watched as the colonization efforts began. I watched the next century roll by as the first interstellar ship was launched. I watched that ship was torn to shreds by a micrometeor storm. I watched the last human die again, this time in a shelter underneath the now unlivable land. His last meal was a decades-old can of beans that had unknowingly been tainted with botulism. The plastic dissolved, then the earth, then the sun. After the blackness overtook everything, I heard the laughter again. It wasn't for long, as it was replaced by the light and the feeling of consciousness of a newborn baby. I spent that time again to build an unbelievable life. That time I managed to get to space myself before dying to a genetic ticking time bomb at 78. In the blackness of eternity again, laughter, then light. I've seen the end of everything many times than I can imagine. I've seen the surface of every star and every planet in the sky of every world. I've watched humanity peter out and die every single time. I've heard the same laugh, the same chuckle, every single time, the second before I come back. I ran the human race like a silent dictator and put every piece in a place innumerable times. Yet nothing I do, no matter how big or small, can extend the life of our species more than a couple centuries. Sure, there's other life out there. But what can you do with the knowledge besides Watch them die like the rest of us. There's no advice from the person who's seen the eternity. Nothing you do matters. Everything you create will turn to dust. You must enjoy your life, because the beginning of everything, the beginning of existence, it's a punchline of a joke. What are you guys talking about? Hey Ty, how you doing? That was a really good one. I just wish I could read these better. I should probably, if I read them first and then read them to y'all, I would do better. We need to get Chappy to 1K. I would appreciate that. I really would. Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome. Trying to find some stories. Oh, that's why I don't like this, because it's not in desktop mode. God. Chappy, I love your readings, man. Who's leaving? Oh, Sianta. Well, have a good night, Bubba. You know I love you. I can't burp that hardcore. Can y'all hear the crackling of my little e-cigarette? I like this flavor. This one. It's strawberry mint. See ya, Sianta. He's giving everybody the spocker. So you got the shocker, the spocker, the rocker, the knocker, the clocker. I don't know. Everyone live long and prosper. Wait, are you gonna die, Sianta? Jesus. All right, Mel. I'll see you back at work at the beginning of the year. I really do know that person, guys. She's one of our new employees. She's pretty awesome. She gives me cigarettes at work, and when I should be smoking this, I was like, oh yeah, I quit smoking. I mean, I quit buying them. I only smoke around her though. The Falker. Which one's the Falker? Don't say that. Don't say what? The slobber knocker? I no die ever. Oh, but I don't like the dark mode. How do I change it to light mode? Dang it. Nope, I just had it. Dang it. Open. There we go. I'm not going to answer that. You should. My ghost has not come out to play yet. I haven't told any real creepy stories to get that sense going yet, though. So maybe I should find a creepy one that'll get me on edge so I can feel like I'm being watched. Do you ever feel like you're being watched? And isn't it weird how that innate sense, like you just know? I'm going to need a visual on that one, Pam. Oh, wait. Is that the one on the bottom of your cup? Oh, the Fokker? So, wait. The Spocker, the Rocker, the Shocker, the Clocker, the Fokker? I might get a Chappy pillow when I get paid. They're just little pillows. I should make a don't turn around pillow. Oh man. Um yeah, nobody really needs to buy my merchandise. A Chappy body pillow with my little nipples. Is that what you want? If you weren't in here for that, well, you missed out. Someone could probably post a picture. Uh, Here's one. Maybe. Oh dear, haha. What's on the pillow? I'm gonna try to post tiny nipples. Oh man, and really, I have tiny nipples for a full-grown man. Body pillows seem so hard to explain to visitors. That's why you fold it in half and put it behind your other pillows. Should have joined my shirtless stream last night. I didn't know. I apologize. The next thing I really want to do is a half-face gaiter. It's those things that you put over your, like that, and they look like doobly 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 da. Do 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 do. Hmm. 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 Oh, jeez. I wonder where Morishiki's been. Yandere. Um, well, this is my icon, as you all know, right? I'm just agreeing. I don't know if y'all can see that. Let's, yeah, that one. Okay. And and this is a half-faced gator. If it ever. So I want one. I want that smile on a half-faced gator. I think I like this one more. If it ever fixes the brightness. It's trying. Whatever. Save the tatas. That's what I'm. That's That's the. That's what this stream's about. This was Chappy's idea. What was Chappy's idea? Why'd you have to explain anything? Those would look awesome with your logo smile. As I said, it would be cool coupled with a beanie with no eyes. Um, so yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to do a half-faced gator with my smile, and then you fold it up, and the eyes are in the eye spot. Before the brightness, I genuinely thought that you were going to show us a picture of a half croc. What does that mean? But where's my storefront? I have a picture of what the pillows and stuff look like. I don't know where it's at. Oh, I think I know where it's at. Hang on. Uno momento, por favor. Ow, I just got a headache. I'll be alright. Oh, that felt wonderful. Could y'all hear that? That felt really, really good. How's that for sounds? Disconcerting. Nope, that's when I got my logo. If y'all ever wondered, the logo... Oh, never mind. Y'all can't see it like I see it. Because it's a clear background, so he's got like wrinkles and stuff. It's you can see it on the white stuff, on the white background things. Let me see here. I'm looking for a picture of my stuff. Let me see here. That's what I did with my computer. Oh, maybe it was more further up than that. Yeah, it had to have been. Nope, that's when I got the picture. Damn it. Anyways, how's everybody doing? Morning all. Just started Christmas break. Nice. Where's it at? It is. Hmm. I has it somewheres. There's that picture. Hmm. That's of my bed. We're getting close. Hmm. There's the ooh chappies. Oh yeah, there we go. Like that's what the little pillows look like in real life. That was my bed when I was in the oil field. Any Burt's Bees? Speaking of, we got some Burt's Bees right here. Let's. Oh, oh. It's playing peekaboo with me. You're gonna put the Burt's Bees right there on the lips. Just a little. I've yet to see that one. Not unless alcohol is involved. I'm not posting it, but search hashtag free the nipple on Twitter. Oh, jeez. It was created in 2012 during a pre-production 2014 film of the same name. The campaign highlights the general convention of allowed men to appear topless in public while considering it sexual or indecent for women to do the same. It asserts the difference and unjust treat of women. Oh, nice. So that's what it is. It's just a bunch of topless people. I mean, I like boobs. Who doesn't? YouTube. Oh Lord, I got Chappy involved. Ms. Zen frowns upon that research. Well, you have to understand, it's not that you're looking at topless women. It's saying that while I took my shirt off earlier to put this on, is okay on YouTube. Why couldn't a woman do that? Oh, that's cool. The GI that I designed, to be honest, I was just getting used to Vector. Have done more than just arriving soonish than I will look better. That's a really cool shirt. Or a gi. Not a GI, it's a gi. I'm sorry. That's a gi you designed. Yeah, that's really badass. And I liked it too. Yeah, there you go, Mr. Zen. Tai, that's blue Jiu-Jitsu right there. Uh, and of course, Punchy is a wonderful artiste. And one of these days, I'll have someone. I sort of paid someone to animate something with my logo, but I didn't give them restraints. Want to see the rash guard set? Yes, we do. Um, Chappy be vaping. That's right, but I'm not a fire breathing dragon or one of those. We get it, bro. You vape. Sometimes I take a big hit, and yeah, I know that, but I don't do tricks, and I don't do it inside, and I don't do it to annoy people. I'm not a mixologist with the you use 2 drops of this, man, and a drop of that, and then you gotta change your ohms. Wow, that's really badass. And you designed all that. Jesus. Found my new merch designer. Oh, apparently Ty is very booked. Or are you not booked anymore? I don't know. Um, I think that's what's awesome about these streams is we have the most talented people come through. Um, huh. Jesus Christ, why has it got to be so long? Alright, let's see what the first one was. Oh, Jesus Christ, this did really well. Alright. I am broke, so that works. Oh, no, it's going dead. I gotta charge my cigarette. Who thought that, like we'd have flying cars or jetpack? No, we got phones and our wireless earbuds, and we gotta charge our freaking cigarettes. You can't see it, it's right there. You gotta charge your cigarette. Alright, so this one's called You Already Know the Rules. Sleeping with your feet towards the door. Who doesn't sleep with their feet towards the door? I do. The door's right there. My head is right, goes right here. I feel like that's sacrilege. If y'all are wondering, GI is gi. My roommate is actually a black belt in something. He teaches lessons. He's like, when I moved in, he's like, you're gonna learn jujitsu or whatever it is. I think it's jujitsu. He's a black belt or double or I don't know. He's got a dojo in the back. It's kind of neat. Mr. Zen, that's fine. No, you know what I want to do is try to do like a thing where I get a bunch of artists to submit pictures and I put them on shirts. And, ooh, ooh, that was my hand. That felt so good. And, like do something like that. I think that'd be really cool. Yeah, it's the garage. Julie's a black belt in the kitchen. Guys, if you'll hold on one second, I gotta pee. And I don't plan on showing you that. I'll show my tiny, tiny man nipples, but I won't show you me peeing. So, if y'all want to hang on one second, I'm gonna play some music, and I'll burb real quick. I'm back. I realized I didn't put the music up very loud, and I didn't mute my mic. But that's fine. Hey guys. But Ty and Zen, would y'all be interested in doing something like that whenever y'all are free? To see, ow, I'll pay for y'all's work, and then we'll go from there. Fish room fever. Good night. Sleep time for me. Good night, everyone. I will be listening. Have a wonderful night. Did you wash your hands? I did not. Damn it, you got me. Well, now, fuck, what am I thinking? Oh, no, I didn't wash my hands. Damn it. Let me go wash my hands. You'll let me know when you're free? How about I turn that up more? Let me go wash my hands. Because now that's in my head and... My reply to I've contaminated everything is Jimmy Carr's I don't wash my hands in the bathroom. I just wash my stuff downstairs. Now it's in his head and hair and everywhere else. It's fine. It's whatever. Germs, the biggest mass murder on the planet. You'll let me know when you're free. Thank you, Ty. I think that'd be cool. So I was going to read a story. This one is, you already know the rules. Sleeping with your feet towards the door. Oh, that's awesome. I can change the color. Oh. I thought heart disease was the biggest killer on earth. I don't know. And I actually think it's telomeres not being long enough that's the biggest killer on planet Earth. Chappy streams keep making me slow to get ready for work. I blame you, Nathan, and Tom. Aw. Sorry, not sorry. There was an art channel in the Chappy Discord that I can post art. Yeah, anybody that makes art, post art there. You don't have to be an artist to make art. No way, germs. Well, I'm not going to argue this with y'all. So here's the story. It's this one. Doop 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 doo doo. Oh, dropping the science Chappy. Y'all know what telomeres are, right? Those are the little dibbly-doos on the end of your cells. So when they divide, they get shorter and shorter. I have to get the kids off to school in 4 hours. Have fun. Had fun, but need a little sleep. Good night, everyone. Mr. Zen, good night, sir. Or if you want a proper salute, it's this. That's actually how you're supposed to do it. I need a drink, burb. Or if you're from the UK, it's that. Want to keep them nice and long. Telomeres, right? Is that what you're talking about? That's why lobsters live so long. Oh, here's a really sad thing that cancer doesn't need telomeres to exist. Some scientists believe that if we can control cancer cells, humans could live much longer. That explains what happened to my ex. He divided himself too many times. No, I mean, there's really no reason why humans die of old age. There's no reason you can't look like this well into 130 years old. It really is just your cells getting older. Why do we wrinkle? Because our collagen stops producing as much? That's stupid. How about our tale of neckbeards? Have you heard of the China study? I have not heard of the China study. My nose. Oh man. Lobsters can repair their telomeres. It's all oxidation and telomere length. Oh, okay. No, there was just a YouTube video that it wasn't Smarter Every Day. It was Derek Oh shit. What video was it? This will take me a second to find. Um, I'll tell you what it is. I was listening to some John Cooper Clarke last night actually. Some Eminem, some Macho Man Randy Savage, Be a Man. That's ooh. I'll show you. They turned off cancer proliferation with adjustment of lifestyle. Oh. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Um, no, if you're interested, and it's just a short little video that he did, but let me find it. Mm hmm. Hmm. Where is it? It was Veritasium. No, go to Veritasium. Oh, Jesus Christ. Nope, Veritasium. And that equilibrium. Yep, okay, great. We don't care about the equilibrium. That's not the video I'm talking about. It was. How to slow aging and even reverse it. And then the image is two rats or two mice and they're twins. One looks much older than the other one. It's real interesting, but essentially the thing of it is that um, I don't know if they'd call it oxidation or whatever, but it's about cell death, things that your lifestyle causes. And ooh, popping toes now. Randy Savage is in South Park. Oh. Um, it's just real interesting, and there's things you can do to change your lifestyle that will slow cell death. And in all, what is it? It's as you damage cells sometimes mutate, so that's why you'll grow a weird hair somewhere because a cell that was doing something is now wants to be a hair cell. It's really it makes sense when you watch the video. It's real interesting. But yeah, I'm gonna do this story. I was originally cancer proliferation in those exposed to aflatoxin with adjustment of animal protein. I believe casein was used less than 5%, more than 20%. More than 5%, but less than 20. But the book goes on to the other causes of death, etc., and other cancers. Yeah, my uncle died of cancer, and a great man. And it's just sad that he didn't smoke. You know, one of the main causes. He didn't really drink that much, if he did at all. Um, it's just it's crazy stuff. But let me do this story, and y'all continue to talk, and I'll jump in when the story's over. But it's you already know the rules. Sleeping with your feet towards the door. I'm always grateful to read posts from others explaining the rules of particular places. A library where you mustn't interrupt the girl in the reflective jacket who reads collected ESVM poems to herself until midnight, a campsite where you must politely offer some of your food to the faceless people who visit your campfire, an old house where you mustn't look out the windows if you hear the sound of bells. Particular places have particular rules. It might be because they're ancient, special, haunted, cursed, or just particularly beautiful places for other things to make their homes. Sometimes you can learn a little from reading others' lists, others' hard-won knowledge of what is or isn't safe. But spirits are petty and varied. One will tear out your tongue if you speak to it. Another will kill you for rudeness if you don't. It takes an expert on the area to know. I don't live anywhere quite like that. I live in the old part of Edinburgh. There's enough cursed or ancient about my flat. It's actually probably one of the least supernatural places in the city. It's safe. Cities often don't have guardians in quite the same way that rural places have. Forests, lakes, valleys, even big ranches. They'll have owners or rangers or guardians, often passed down through generations, or trained and picked carefully by mentors. I like talking to people from those wild places. The guardians, rangers, and owners of forests and lakes and valleys. I respect the hell out of their attitude, their their reverence for the places they watch over. I don't have anything that special. I stumbled onto this. I'll tell you the story if you're patient. And while I'd rather die than be impolite to something really ancient and fey, sometimes in cities, what you're actually dealing with is a vomit nymph or a minor cocaine spirit, and that's occasionally hard to take seriously. But I'm lucky. I tend not to need specific rules. Of course, there's places like the bridge you mustn't walk under if your voice doesn't echo, and Author's Seat has its fair share of terrifying things. But for the most part, I'm only really concerned by the universal rules, the ones that pretty much apply anywhere. Whether it be an ancient haunted cathedral or the most mundane cafe. Here are the rules. If you're hurrying home between 2 a.m. and 4 p.m., nope. If you're hurrying home between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m., don't look behind you. Make sure your eye make sure your bed has your head furthest from the door than your feet, and ensure that at least one side, preferably two, is against a wall. If you're walking past a room and see a person out of the corner of your eye, and when you check again, it's just an outfit on a coat hanger, don't freak out. But always make sure you check again. Break at least one solemn promise before about mid-February each year. Close your closet door firmly before sleeping. It's okay if it cracks open so as long as it's too narrow for a finger. I've dealt with that one before. Stay under your blanket when you're asleep. Having a leg out of the blanket is okay, but don't position your feet where they could be seen from under your bed. Windows can slide upwards or open outwards, but must never, ever open inwards. If you feel the intense sensation that something is watching you from the window, ideally close the curtains. You can look from your bed or couch, but never go to the window and look down. And never, ever press your face against the glass. Only certain people are safe to sleep in complete darkness. You'll know instinctively if you're one of the ones who needs to keep the light on or a window open. Don't sleep with someone until you've had at least 3 dates. They can't maintain a good consistent mimic more than 2 evenings. Let me read that one again. Don't sleep with someone until you've had at least 3 dates. They can't maintain a good consistent mimic for more than 2 evenings, so after 3 you're safe. On midwinter morning, whichever date you personally celebrate as your winter festival, ensure that there's at least one sock in your home that has no pair. See you later, Ty. There's more, but I don't need to tell you them. See, the universal rules have become part of us now. Either they're in our biology, things we've known from birth without needing to be taught, or they're aspects of culture that get most people to obey them without knowing why they're doing it. Some of them, I think, aren't actually universal. For instance, I think the rule that you must offer tea, specifically tea, to strangers in your home is only on this island. The creatures that demand it are only really alive here. I think some of the rules are culturally dependent because, of course, an arbitrary calendar day isn't actually how most non-humans count New Year. It's about the rhythms of your life and the points in those rhythms where certain things might pay attention to you. Edinburgh doesn't really have many rules that you wouldn't get elsewhere. Not rules that apply to all of it. You get some heckling. No, let me try that again. You get some hecking specific rules if you're working in certain parts of the castle at 3 a.m. But really, it's just a matter of common sense. It's a very old city, an important city. Scotland is an old, wild country, and it remembers all sorts of things. It's a beautiful city with so many layers to it and so many ghosts. There are things here you wouldn't imagine, but you don't have to tap on anything several times. And if you order kebab from the man with a tattoo of swarm of wasps after taking the last train to Glasgow, look, you didn't know how bad that decision was, but you knew damn well it was a bad idea. At this point, you're probably wondering who the hell I am. I certainly don't have any official position. I don't own any land here. I'm not a descendant from anyone, and I'm not trained as police or anything. Actually, no human picked me. It seemed random. The night after I moved here, almost 16 years ago, I had the most fantastically vivid dream. I was dancing with the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. She had flame red hair and wore a tattered copper dress. She danced with a sword in each hand, but I was unafraid. She moved with such clarity of intent and she inspired me so much with her grace that I was able to fluidly move around her in perfect timing, and the blades never touched me. I had never danced in my life, and I can't dance when I'm awake, but she moved me. That's all I can explain. I was awoken. I was woken up by knocking on my door. It was the same woman. I admit, after our dance, I'm feeling a little famished, she said. I invited her in for eggs and bacon. In hindsight, that was stupid. Most magic runs on rules and rituals, and the laws of thresholds. Home sanctity and hospitality are some of the oldest of all. There's plenty of things out there which only need an invite into your home to destroy you, but I'm glad I did. She didn't touch the eggs and bacon, but she told me it was kind and respectful offer. The first thing she told me was about the Waverly. Well, no. Actually, the first thing she told me was that I needed to get a new coffee machine because my old one was going to break in about 5 more coffees. The second thing she told me was that before getting on a train to Sterling, I should check if there's a stop in Silvery. There is no Silvery on the line to Sterling, at least not unless I'm at the station. I've checked with friends who've confirmed this. It's only there when I am, as far as I know. It's safe for me to get off at Silvery. I have an invitation. It is not safe for you. And should you try it, I saw a teenager once try it, and another man who was probably just counting stops to his normal one and didn't look up from his phone as he got off. That's another one of the stories you can ask me for. Anyway, my day job is in an office. I do things with spreadsheets. It's just, in my spare time. I'm one of the people who helps with the rules. There's actually a fair few of us, but as many people and other beings as there are in a big city, but I don't know the others. And I'm writing all of this because apparently some people don't know the rules. They just didn't get it somehow. Their parents didn't teach them. Their instincts are all wrong. So I figured I should write down something that explains them. Some of them are obvious. You fucking know why your closet door must never be wide enough to crack open, for a long gray finger to curl from the inside and wrap itself slowly around the door. If you don't, please just imagine your reaction were you to see that. Congrats. Now you know. Some of you think you've learned better about. You didn't. Adults know it's safe to put your feet on cracks between the paving stones, but that doesn't mean children are wrong and being dangerous. The edgelings only take small, tender victims. But some are counterintuitive. George, a local nurse, and one of the other part-time guardians called me up yesterday. That was the call that prompted this post. He told me about an awfully weird occurrence at the hospital. Apparently, an elderly patient reported walking up at around 3 a.m., drenched in sweat, hearing nothing but perfect silence. She looked at the door, and in walked a sort of, I hesitate to call it a man. Apparently, it had arms that were far too long and dragged the floor. Only a gaping, bloody holes where its eyes should be, and a torso that wrapped around in spirals like a knotted rope. The man stopped in the doorway, breathing heavily, and then reached out with one hand. It seemed like his feet couldn't pass the doorway, apparently, but his hands could, walking his fingers across the floor, then eventually taking a deep breath and supporting the full weight of that awfully long arm, he groped along the beds of the ward until he reached hers. When he touched her feet, his hands weren't cold. They were warm, slimy, a little suctiony. Something told her to remain perfectly still, not to react. Do not give any sign of life. The moist, heavy fingers explored her toes a little, lifted her heel, and then dropped her foot. The long-armed creature sighed heavily. No tasty eyes here. It whined, need tasty eyes. It took a deep breath, coughed up some slime, and whimpered like a child begging for ice cream. Delicious eyes. And then it left. Apparently, the doctors think the woman's crazy. There's absolutely no sign of the creature on the hospital's CCTV. No slime where it supposedly coughed. But George, the nurse that helps the old people get cleaned up, says her feet were sticky in a way that turned his stomach. And George's stomach is strong enough to clean pus out of the guy who decided to stick his dick up the surgical wounds in his own arm and then laugh about it over a pint. George mentioned he's damn glad his patient was sleeping with her head and her eyes away from the door and her feet towards it. He made sure it's hospital policy to ask all patients to sleep that way. I thought it might be valuable to let you all know. I'll be back with more stories of the work with people like George and I do. Longer ones. Haha. Since I don't have to give this all context and perhaps some more explanations of the rules you already know. Do y'all want some more? Well, here's the next one. You already know the rules. If you feel like something is behind you, don't look over your shoulder. This is part 2. When I wrote yesterday about never sleeping with your head towards the door, I admit I was honestly a little overwhelmed by all the comments and positive responses. I'm glad I've helped so many people stay informed and safe, though I hope I haven't scared you off Edinburgh. It's a beautiful city. A lot of you mentioned that the rules about spaces behind you. Don't look in mirrors in dark rooms. Don't look over your shoulder at what might be following you. Don't rush or act afraid when you sense something behind you, and so on. So I thought I'd write something about these rules to help explain and to help deter the few of you who think you'll go around glaring defiantly behind you as if you can prove me wrong. You know you can't do that. You know how strong that instinct is, that you shouldn't look, and you know that nobody told you. You got it from somewhere deep within you. It's convenient because this is also the story of how I met George. I was, I'm just going to be honest with you, out late at nightly, mildly tipsy, buying a deep fried Mars bar. For those who haven't lived in regions where this is an exquisite cuisine, is possible, you're just going to have to believe me that it's good. It just is. Moving on. I left my battered prize and was about to sink my teeth in when I saw him. A young man, dark haired, coat turned up against the cold. I approved of the coat and his sensible woven scarf. I saw him throw a look over his shoulder as he passed. I didn't approve of that so much. And I saw his shadow become ever so slightly larger. Fuck. I knew about the thing behind you, even back then. I wouldn't have been allowed to do this with my job without at least some preparation. But I'd never seen it hunt in real time before. Never been the bystander as it got started. If I called to the young man, what would make it look again? My roommate. Let me try that again. If I called to the young man, would that make him look again? If I followed him, that definitely wouldn't help. Fuck. I didn't know him, but I just couldn't let this happen. I made a snap decision and broke into a sprint. I'd circled around the hill and met him on the other end of the street. It had been raining, and my feet slipped a little over the cobblestones, the cold air rushing into my ears for an instant headache. I needed to be in front of this guy. I saw him again as he hurried around the corner and threw me an anxious glance behind him. "You've got to stop doing that," I called out. Dude looked at me like I was crazy, glanced at me, glanced behind him, and then back at me. "You talking to me?" A pipe was dripping water into the gutter at the corner of the square. Each droplet stood out to me in the darkness. Tiny pearls glided by reflected lamplight. I didn't know that George was hearing, but I couldn't tell him the rhythm of the drip wasn't entirely natural. Drip, drip, drip. Drip, 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 drip. Pause. Drip, drip, drip. Drip, 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 drip. And yes, I need you to stop looking behind you. After a moment's thought, I added, "Because there's nothing behind you." The shadow sank just a little bit. I hadn't practiced this. I'd never done this before, and my facial expression must have given it away. And the young man noticed. His shadow grew, and this time it wasn't a subtle difference. It wasn't one of those imperceptible differences that made you only pick up on it if you're me. It looked like something was shining a torch right under his feet. It cast a shadow that big. The shadow loomed up on the crescent behind George, broken by the shapes of Edinburgh's typically tall windows and cut off at the neck by the dark tiles of the roofs. "You're looking behind me," he accused. But he didn't turn around. That was good. I approved of that. Sensible Scarf Boy might have forgotten the rules, but at least he couldn't see it once I reminded him. I made a series of rapid plans in my head, all discarded. It was imperative that he calm down. It was absolutely imperative that he didn't look behind him. I needed him not to see that shadow at all cost. I would have been more than happy to blind him, but I wasn't entirely sure how to achieve that from a distance with 2 pins, keys, and a phone in my pocket. And I sure as hell wasn't chancing a wrestling match, trying somehow to look as though I was both non-threatening and a total professional. I skipped the last few steps to the dark-haired man, grabbed his arm, and started down the street. I was almost surprised when he complied, but then I looked over at him. Now I was closer. I could see the tears in his eyes. "You know what's behind me," the man accused in a whisper. "I do," I admitted, "and it feeds on fear. So I need you to stop thinking about it. I want you to think about the fact that I'm taking you to a safe place. I want you to think about deep-fried Mars bars." I realized as I said it that I still had the damn thing in my hands, and offered him a bite. He accepted, trembling. "I'd like you to focus on telling me your name and what you'd like to make for breakfast tomorrow." We were walking briskly, and I had a grip on his forearm that was a little too hard. I shifted it to his shoulder. The thing behind him was substantial enough now that it was casting its own shadow. I prayed he didn't notice. I couldn't make out much more from the shadow, but it looked like it had a pretty long knife. "George," was all he offered in response. I suppose that's fair, given how terrified he was. "Okay, George, we're going to... fuck it. My place is too far. We're just going to have to pop into a library. It's a couple streets over." There were 3 sets of footsteps to the cobblestones. I hurried mine along, wanting to make sure George didn't notice. Kept up a patter of completely meaningless talk. The thing behind George's knife got longer. The relief I saw when the light spilling from the front door of the local library absolutely drenched me. I kept... shit. Oh no. Where was he at? Sorry. The relief I saw with the light spilling from the front door of my local library absolutely drenched me. I kept a steady, brisk pace up to the front door, shoved George inside, and shut the door behind us. It was only a glass door. It wouldn't hold. I drew George further into the library, found a chair I could position in the corner, and made sure he had his back to 2 walls before we relaxed. Both of us were breathing hard in the sudden quiet. That was that was one of the other you just handled for me. That Let me try this again. That was one of the other you just handled for me, wasn't it? I froze. George wasn't supposed to be asking about that. Why would he know about that? It's okay, he reassured me. I'm a guardian too. Just I kind of inherited it. I don't know what I'm doing yet. So I told him the rules. Not to ever look behind him if he's in a dark street like that. If it's targeted you once, you're more vulnerable. I told him how it progresses. At first, it's your shadow. If you don't believe in it, it's not strong enough to do much or to hurt you. But when you glance behind you and perhaps see a leaf stirring in the wind or an oddly shaped shadow, it lends a little credibility to the idea that maybe there could be, or could have been, something there. That little bit of belief is enough to give it power. Still not enough to power to hurt you. Still not enough to take its physical form, even, but enough perhaps to change the way the water pipe drips, or nudge the air to blow a little differently. You think you hear something behind you, so you look over your shoulder again. That little bit of extra belief still won't give it physical form, but it can nudge things. It can make the air feel warmer on your neck. It can make the street seem quieter, too quiet. It could lengthen your shadow so that if you turn around and glance at it, something might seem off. You believe something is off, something is dangerous. Perhaps you believe a little bit that there might be something behind you. It gets stronger. I told him all this before realizing I had made a terrible mistake. Have you ever read or told a story that scared you so hard your eyes watered from the sheer mental strain of it all, like your fear was leaking into liquid form from the nearest outlet? I had made sure George had his back to the wall. I hadn't done with the same myself, and my tears were blurring my vision. I wiped them away and noticed George was a little more scared than I'd expected from simply hearing about a monster, at least from a guardian. Is there something behind me? I asked, in the most measured, calm voice I could possibly summon. Absolutely not. A book fell on my head. There was definitely nothing behind you. I could feel the breath on my neck, just as I'd mentioned it. I wish I hadn't used that example. I hate breathing on my neck. Please look at me. I think in hindsight, George's nurse training kicked in. I looked at him, tried to actually stop scanning the empty library aisles for anything to help, and looked at him, right into his eyes. He has chocolate brown eyes. There is absolutely nothing behind you. There never has been. You are safe. You are completely safe. I stood up. There's one last thing you can try. In an emergency, it works best if you trust someone with your life. But George was all I had. I walked towards him, took his hands, and pulled him up. I almost slipped his hands out of mine. They were so sweaty. Would you prove there's nothing behind me? For me? I asked, knowing how shitty that was for me to ask. Could we stand back to back? The ordinary nurse, who never wanted any of this, looked over my shoulder. He visibly flinched. I felt the sensation of something behind me slipping a knife around, poised in front of my throat. George closed his eyes rapidly, took 2 steps past me directly into whatever was behind me, but there was no sound. I felt his neck pressed against mine, trembling. There was no knife against my throat. I reached behind me and held his hand. We stood there for a while, breathing in tune, hearts thudding like rabbits, knowing the only thing behind us were small or harmless enough for the other to face them for a stranger. Hey, Yandere. Anyways, that's how I met George. Of course, I couldn't stop it. The thing behind me got its prey that night, though it wasn't either of us. I saw her on Sunday afternoon, a woman hurrying past on a half-empty street who looked like she had been thrown out of the trash and not combed her hair ever since. She was stumbling a little, wearing office clothes, looking like she was late for getting fired. Sleep deprivation was absolutely etched on her face, far too wrinkled for the age she looked like she had been. She didn't even look up or notice us as she stumbled past. She'd probably learned by then, looking the way the tiredness had made her. People who heard her pleas for help would assume she was crazy, a homeless beggar or drug addict. I knew better. I also knew better than to try to save her at this point. Right as she almost disappeared from view, she threw a glance over her shoulders, and just as she did, another woman rounded the corner, coming the same way she had come. So they barely glimpsed each other before the first woman disappeared from view, younger looking, prettier, since she wasn't a wreck, better dressed. You'd never notice she looked exactly like the first woman. She walked with the most perfectly measured, patient step. When I blinked again, she was gone. I checked the obituaries, always, and coroner's notes on crime reports. Officially, this woman died of some kind of crazy mental illness or drug overdose. She went crazy, that's for certain. That's good. You're supposed to go crazy when you're sufficiently sleep deprived. It's one of the oldest deficiencies to have. It prevents you from being completely sure that the thing behind you is what kills you. So, don't glance behind you when you're hurrying home late at night. You already know this rule. You know it for a reason. I'm doing my best to keep you safe. It was risky to write this, and risky to make you believe a little more. So you better have followed all the instructions. Sleep with one side of your bed against the wall. Tell your friends that they shouldn't be glancing over their shoulders because it'll only make them more scared. And if you ever get up to use the bathroom and you don't feel anxious from reading this, don't. look in the mirror. Anyways, let me know which one of your other rules you might like me to explain. So I want to say there was a comment about the drips, that they were Morse code. But I can't find it. Did y'all like that? That was weird. Just in case I fall asleep. Bye, Zen, Chappy, Cody-san, Pam, Julie, and everyone else. That was pretty decent. I'm still holding out for better. No, it just went mute. I'm not sure how it went mute, but it did. Alright, I saw it right there. Like a pretty good view of whatever. Well, we've been streaming for 2 hours, and it's 3 in the morning. I'm pretty dang tired. Would you guys be mad if we ended the stream here? How many subs am I up to? Let's see. 790. I am almost to 800 subs, guys. I need 210 people to click subscribed. Hee hee. Oh, Chappy, good timing, I guess. Nope. Closer to 4, technically. It is closer to 4. It is about that time. 790. Yeah. Wouldn't be mad. I'm headbanging to drums right now. Well, if any of you crazy people sleep with your head to the door, turn your bed around. You'll give me another shout out when you stream Saturday. Gotta get people who stay all the way first. What do you mean, Yandiri? I was missing you earlier. We got some new artistes posting pictures in the art section. Ooh, who made these shoes? Mr. Zen. Oh, those are fucking beautiful. Wow. Uh, yeah. Your streams are crazy long. They tend to be on the crazy long side. Chappy, I got an art block of the worst kind. Well, Yandere, can you give form to my icon? That's annoying. I hate that sound. I'm always asking for stuff for me. How about Chappy? I finish work in 2.5 hours. You sure you don't want to keep streaming? I'm sure I don't, because I got to work tomorrow. And apparently falling asleep at 4 a.m. is a bad idea. Yeah, because my icon is just two eyes and a mouth. Does it have a body? What kind of body does it have? I like James's response. Well, finish work faster. Yeah, that's how it goes at my job. My boss thinks it takes so much time to finish something. He's like, all right, then clock out. But it always takes me way more time because he's an idiot. One of my favorite quotes: inspiration exists, but it has to find you working. Or Yandere, make a what can you make a cartoon of me? I don't know. Um, I want you to do what you do best. Just whatever comes to mind. I would love to see a video, like a top-down video, kind of like how Peter Draws does, of you animating or of you drawing something just from scratch. I think that would be really freaking cool. That would do really well on YouTube. People love art, and artists are awesome. Unfortunately, I don't draw well. I'm just a word jockey that likes to sing every now and then. I just read the words. Make a Chappy? Sure. 3 a.m. is the best time for full blast metal. Hmm. Let me find you your 3 a.m. song. It would be Slayer, South of Heaven. Mm, Live Undead. I don't do videos, and YouTube is getting rid of artists in January. What? What do you mean YouTube is getting rid of artists in January? That doesn't make any sense. YouTube's stupid. There, I said it, YouTube. What are you gonna do about it? Yeah, no one ever gets suggested to my videos ever again. Oh, you don't meet the requirements for super chat or monetization. Womp womp womp. Anything directed to kids is screwed. Well, don't direct your content towards children. Age restrict it all. The COPPA thing. Well, sure. I had to make agreements that I'm, not a child. I mean, hell, if you look at my analytics, analytics. Give me my freaking analytics. Yep, I just had it. My analytics. Um, Audience. Yeah, see? 35.6% is 18 to 24. 35 to 44 is 64.4. 74% is United States. 3.8% is United Kingdom. 1.5% is Canada. That's all Cianta right there. And 61.4% is female. And 38.6 is male. So women in the age of 35 to 44 from United States. That's basically the age group that I would date. Or my peers. The children didn't like YouTube Kids, so they came back to the original YouTube. Good night, Chappy. Well, good night, Julie. Or should I say my standard demographic? Oh. It's kind of cool. I have this little hole, in, well, like the thing that shows the Apple logo, but it fits so perfectly in the knob for my That's right, as long as the art is not presented in a way that's super kid friendly, all is well. Women love creepy stories. I guess that's true. Because us women are creepy. Ginger, I know a lot of artists who has very kid-like stuff. Well, I mean, you just have to find, like I do, age restrict your stuff. That's, I mean, if they click that say that they're over 18, that's not your bad, that's theirs. I like unsolved mysteries and disappearances. I wish if I can ever get a staff, find people that I could pay to join the team and do this more full time. I would like to do cryptids and unexplained mysteries and stuff. You need some Burt's Bees? Well, I can give you some Burt's Bees, just like that. Just right over them lips. Wait. And it's the Burt's Bees. Because if you don't got the two little bees, I'm gonna come to your house and put it on you. And if you wake up, you won't like it. Yeah. So, anyways, guys, I love all of you. And thank you all for stopping in. If you age restrict, you can't monetize. Well, I can't monetize right now anyways. But if you're not doing stuff for kids, you're okay. So when I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to go to like adult things that aren't creepypastas. No, I'll just stop. Bigfoot attack stories. That's all. Just that alone. Like the first 5 minutes of my streams will be covering taxes, and then it'll go into the creepy stories. Burt's Bees creepy pastas. And besides, since I do live streams, I can't really monetize. Um, I don't really do a whole bunch of videos. If you're doing stuff for kids, you need to find other sources of revenue, like sponsors. By January, they're going to change it 6 more times anyway. Nobody can freak out yet. Sick of Bigfoot and aliens. What about a Bigfoot alien? You know, Bigfoot being an alien. Ooh, new twist. It's a twist! Well, anyways, guys, I gotta get out of here. I've been saying this for 9 minutes. So, I will stream again tomorrow. And tomorrow is Friday, and it'll be my Friday. And I'll have 2 weeks off. So you'll see more streams. And maybe, with any hope, I can hit 1,000 before the first. Before my 1 year mark. I think that'd be really cool. So I have 11 days to gain 200, what did I say, 210 subscribers? I don't know how possible that is. But, yeah, 210 subscribers, at least. My dad had a theory. Aww. Thanks for streaming. Great stories. Y'all leave a like on the way out if you haven't already done so. Well, thank you all for coming. Come to your stream Saturday night. I sure will, Punchy. And guys, make sure you subscribe to Punchy, to 54 Punchy. She just hit 1,000. And if you like the new people that she's brought, like Zen Ginger, Amateur Aquatics, Chattanooga, anybody, just they're all awesome. You should subscribe and check out her stream. And anyways, thanks, Chappy. This was fun. Yes. Time for bus drivers to wake up. And if I was still in the oil field, I would have been up for almost 50 minutes. So anyways, you guys be good. Stay creepy. And, yeah.